Hey, this is the World Advice Channel 2. What I want to talk about today is the question of can the black community make a comeback? So for this video, I will explain 2 points that will explain if we can make a comeback or not. Okay? So now that I mention that, let's get started. So when it comes to the question of can the black community make a comeback from the past 400 to 500 years of oppression and misery and so on and so forth because of slavery, the simple answer to that question is yes. We definitely can make a comeback, okay? And the first of the two main reasons why I believe we can make a comeback is down to the fact that we can find a way to contribute to society through an idea or an invention, you know, because the truth of the matter is, when it comes to the idea of black oppression and black so on and so forth, black misery, is that it pretty much it's ultimately fueled by the idea that black people are stupid. No matter how you look at it, there's no other way to describe it. It's the idea that black people are inferior because we're stupid, okay? But obviously if we invent something that could obviously, elevate, obviously show that we created something that is actually useful to society. And most importantly, of course, something that, of course, makes us feel greater, or something like that. Then obviously the truth of the matter is white people cannot say the things that they're saying about us now, because they're going to realize in the end of the day, the racist ones at least, um in the end of the day, black people created something that changed the world forever and something we actually really need. Not something that's secondary and it's just kind of like, this doesn't really matter, because the truth of the matter is when it comes to um reality in general, okay, as you already know, the past 400 to 500 years of black people hasn't been a very pleasant one and so on and so forth. The truth of the matter is, okay, in the greater scheme of things, even looking at human civilization as a whole, which in the greater scheme of things, even aside from how long we as a whole as humans have been around for a long time, even when we look at the human civilization, there's easily 10,000 years of human civilization. 10 to 8,000, 8,000 at the very least, okay? There's over 10,000 years of human history, okay? There's so many things that happen in that period of time. It's ridiculous, okay? And so many things that happen in a period of time, and there's a lot of atrocities and stuff that happened that were actually quite horrible. Maybe not as bad as African slave trade, but were quite horrible, okay? Not to mention, you know, has human civilization lasted for that length of time, which shows that we can obviously last for a long period of time in towards the future. That's doesn't that of course is something to take in consideration, especially when you realize our planet is running out of resources, and we obviously, knowing how smart human beings are, whether we have a lot of stupid ones or not, we easily could probably last for a few thousand or so more years, especially when we colonize outer space because we screwed up our planet, okay? So in that period of time, no matter how much humiliation we have suffered as black people and so on and so forth, that length of period of time should give us enough time to figure out something that we can obviously come up with and contribute to the world, whether it could be maybe, some anti-gravity art creating artificial gravity for spaceships, maybe something that could help create free energy so we don't have to rely on fossil fuels and stuff that much. um and all that much anymore, or maybe some medical invention that could cure some of the world's greatest diseases that have existed, so on and so forth. There's so many things we could figure out. Maybe we might even have the first black person who might figure out a way to have a to provide cell service for people on different planets, not just Earth, but on Mars, Venus, and so on and so forth. Okay, Like, we don't know, just like the equivalent of what we have on Earth, like AT&T and Bell and that stuff. He might be a black person who figures out a way to provide it for space colonists on, Mars, Venus, and all those different places throughout the solar system. Okay? And that's the truth of the matter because there's so much time towards a future. It's not even funny for a black person to come on something. Now, the obvious question, $1 million question that's gonna, or I should say, the question that obviously is gonna come up, because I know a lot of black people, let's keep it real, are ignorant. I'm not saying the majority, but a lot are ignorant. Are gonna say, well, who cares about space travel? Well, the issue is not if you have a genuine passion or interest in space travel. That's not what matters. If you don't have an interest in it, that's not something that matters. You don't have to be interested in this if you don't want to be interested in it. But the point is, this is our future. Space travel is our future, whether we want to admit it or not. We screwed up our planet as a species. Humans in general screwed up our planet. And it's time for us to think towards the future. And space travel is the future, whether we want to admit it or not. So the truth of the matter is, since that's our future, we can obviously, you know, for that matter, um, figure out something that we can do in the process, let alone the fact that there's so much time towards the future for us to obviously make a comeback from all the stuff that we experience, all the humiliation, and build our reputation. So that's what my first point I want to make across. Now, the second point, of course, to make across, aside from that, of course, that a lot of people would be, of course, directly interested in, for that matter, okay, is also, of course, you know, um, of course, is economic improvement and development. Now, that one is definitely something that we can definitely work on and do, and I definitely believe we can make a comeback at some point. At some point, because we have more than enough time to make a comeback. It's just that the problem I feel is we need to do if we, when it comes to this particular issue, is just catching on to how to have better business strategies, like showing up on time and so on and so forth. And we will do a lot better. We don't have to fall for this crap about the conservatives are going to save us and blaming everything on welfare. Most black businesses do bad because they're poorly organized, they overcharge, and they're not on time for things. Okay, that's the truth of the matter when it comes to black businesses. Okay, if we could obviously, you know, for that matter, okay, teach people that type of stuff, then obviously, you know, things will be a bit better. Okay, not to mention there's so much time towards the future that in general there should be enough time for us to make a comeback from all the things we have experienced and all the bad things that have happened when it comes to lack of money and all that type of stuff, because the truth of the matter is we've been here for 10,000 years. 10,000 years and still survived throughout all this stuff. We could probably easily, as human beings as a whole, survive for the next few thousand, 10,000 or so plus years. So if we can obviously exist for that length of a period of time, okay, you know, easily, if anything, and we have enough time to pick up from all the things we fucked up on, because that's a really long period of time for that matter. So much that most human beings, literally every human being could not comprehend how long that is. So the truth of the matter is that's what we need to do. We need to think towards a future, in all honesty. Okay? And we obviously have enough time to pick up, from all the mistakes we made and obviously have a much better, happier future. So the truth of the matter is, in short, yes, I do believe the black community can make a comeback. It's just that we need to not only keep these things in mind, we need people like me and so on and so forth to give ideas and so we can have a vision for the future, okay? But like I was saying before, in short, when it comes to actually, of course, directly answer the question, just using the straight up facts, yes, we can make a comeback as there's more than enough time. We can make a comeback if that's what you want to know. So, anyway, this is my video. All I have to say is that I hope you enjoyed it as well as found it informative. Just remember, if you like this video and videos like this, remember to thumb this video up and hit the subscribe button. And this is all I have to say. And simply put, I'm out. Bye.